The alarm screamed at 5:47 a.m., 13 minutes before it was supposed to. Marcus Webb slapped at his phone on the nightstand, missing twice before finally silencing the piercing sound that shattered what little sleep he'd managed to grab. 4 hours, maybe 5 if he was being generous. His body ached in that deep bone way that came from too many years of manual labor and not enough rest. He lay there for exactly 30 seconds, his only luxury, staring at the water stain on the ceiling that looked like a map of somewhere he'd never been and would probably never go. The morning light filtered through curtains that were more holes than fabric, casting pale stripes across the small bedroom of his 2-bedroom apartment in the Riverside district of Cleveland. The house was already stirring. He could hear his daughters in their room, the soft murmur of their voices as they woke each other up the way they did every morning. Twins, 8 years old, identical in every way except personality. Maya, the elder by 4 minutes, was already bossing her sister around. Mia, quieter, gentler, was probably already braiding her own hair because Maya refused to sit still long enough for anyone to do hers properly. "Girls," Marcus called out, his voice rough with sleep. 20 minutes. Breakfast in 15. "Okay, Daddy," they chorused in perfect unison, and despite everything, the exhaustion, the money stress, the bone-deep weariness, he smiled. 3 years. 3 years since Keisha had left, taking nothing but her clothes and her resentment, leaving behind 2 confused 6-year-olds and a marriage certificate that meant less than the paper it was printed on. She'd moved to Atlanta with a man who worked in finance, who wore suits that cost more than Marcus made in a month, who could give her the life she'd always wanted. The life Marcus couldn't provide on a janitor's salary. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Marcus pulled himself out of bed, his joints protesting. 36 years old, and he felt 50. He caught his reflection in the mirror mounted on the back of his bedroom door. A tall man, 6'2", with dark brown skin that still looked good despite everything, close-cropped hair starting to show gray at the temples, broad shoulders that came from years of lifting, moving, carrying. His ex-wife used to say he had kind eyes. Now, those eyes just looked tired. The apartment was small, 900 square feet of cramped living that somehow held their entire world. The walls were clean but worn, paint peeling in corners he kept meaning to fix but never had time for. Family photos covered every available surface. The girls as babies, gap-toothed school pictures, a single wedding photo he kept for them, not for him, showing a younger Marcus and Keisha, both smiling, both believing in futures that never came. In the kitchen, Marcus moved with practiced efficiency. Oatmeal in the pot, the cheap kind that required actual cooking, not the instant packets that cost 3 times as much. While it bubbled, he counted out vitamins, checked their pill organizer decorated with cartoon characters. Maya, orange gummy bear. Mia, purple gummy bear. He knew which was which without looking. The refrigerator hummed, struggling against the summer heat already building outside. Inside, a half-gallon of milk, eggs, butter, some chicken he'd bought on sale, vegetables he'd stretched through 3 meals, a block of government cheese he wasn't ashamed to use. On the counter, a stack of bills held down by a coffee mug, rent due in 5 days, electricity showing a past due notice, car insurance he was juggling. He opened his wallet. $43 until Friday. 3 days away. The oatmeal finished. He added cinnamon, a drizzle of honey they'd gotten from the church food pantry, sliced banana he'd rescued from the discount bin at Save Mart. Made it special. Made it feel like love, not poverty. "Breakfast," he called. They came running. Maya first, always first, her hair wild around her face, still in her nightgown printed with unicorns. Mia followed, already dressed for school, her hair in neat cornrows she'd somehow managed herself, wearing the yellow dress she insisted on wearing twice a week because it had pockets. "Good morning, Daddy," Mia said softly, climbing into her chair. "Morning, baby girl." Can we have pancakes? Maya demanded, already scooping oatmeal into her mouth. We had pancakes on Sunday. Today's oatmeal day. But I don't like oatmeal day. You're eating it just fine, Marcus observed, watching her empty bowl rapidly. Mia giggled and Maya shot her a look before grinning herself. This was their morning dance, familiar as breathing. While they ate, Marcus moved around the small kitchen, packing their lunches in worn lunch boxes. Sandwiches cut into triangles because Maya said they tasted better that way. Carrot sticks, apples, juice boxes he'd bought in bulk. Their backpacks hung by the door, already packed with homework he'd checked last night at 11 p.m., sitting at the same table under the flickering fluorescent light. "Daddy, can you do my hair?" Maya asked, suddenly remembering she had a head full of untamed curls. "Come here." She climbed onto his lap and he grabbed the spray bottle, the wide-tooth comb, the jar of hair grease that smelled like coconut and childhood. His large, calloused hands moved with surprising gentleness, sectioning, detangling, working through knots with patience that came from practice, not nature. He braided her hair into 2 cornrows, his fingers moving automatically, muscle memory from 3 years of being mother and father both. "Too tight?" he asked. "No, it's perfect." Mia watched, her own hair already done. "Daddy's the best at hair." "Daddy's the best at everything," Maya announced with the absolute certainty of an 8-year-old who still believed her father could fix anything. If only that were true. By 7:15, they were at the bus stop 3 blocks away, Marcus walking between them, each girl holding one of his hands. The morning was already hot, humidity thick enough to taste. Other parents waited, mostly mothers, a few fathers, everybody looking tired in that way people do when they're working too hard for too little. Mrs. Chen from 4B nodded at him. "Marcus." Mrs. Chen. "You working today?" "Always working?" She laughed, understanding in her eyes. Her husband drove for a delivery company, worked nights while she worked days. They passed their kids like a relay race, barely seeing each other. This neighborhood was full of people like them, working, striving, surviving. The school bus arrived, yellow and loud, belching exhaust. Maya bounded up the steps. Mia hung back. "You okay, sweetie?" Marcus asked, kneeling to her level. "Are you picking us up today?" "Mrs. Rodriguez is picking you up. I'll be home by 6, same as always." "Okay." She hugged him, tight. "I love you, Daddy." "I love you too, baby. Both of you," he called to Maya, already claiming her favorite seat. They waved through the window as the bus pulled away, and Marcus stood watching until it disappeared around the corner. Then he checked his phone. 7:34. His shift at Prescott Tower started at 8:01, 26 minutes to get across town in morning traffic. He ran. His truck, a 2004 Silverado held together by duct tape, prayer, and sheer stubbornness, coughed to life on the 3rd try. The air conditioning had died 2 summers ago. He drove with windows down, radio playing gospel music because it reminded him of his grandmother, the woman who'd raised him after his own mother disappeared into addiction when he was 12. "You're stronger than your circumstances, baby," she used to say. "Don't you ever forget that." He tried not to, Grandma. He really tried. Prescott Tower rose 37 floors into the Cleveland skyline, all glass and steel and wealth. The headquarters of Prescott Industries, one of the largest manufacturing conglomerates in the Midwest. Inside those walls, executives made in a day what Marcus made in a year. Outside, in the basement, Marcus mopped their floors. He parked in the employee lot, grabbed his work uniform from the passenger seat, navy blue coveralls with maintenance stitched in yellow on the back, his name patch reading M. Weeb on the front. He changed in the locker room, stuffing his street clothes into a locker held shut with a combination lock older than his daughter's. "Late again, Webb," his supervisor grunted, not looking up from his clipboard. "Bus was delayed," Marcus lied smoothly. The truth, that he'd stayed up until midnight fixing a leaky sink in their bathroom with parts scavenged from the hardware store's discount bin, wasn't anyone's business. "Whatever. You got floors 12 through 27 today. Johnson called in sick, so you're covering his route too. Double duty, same pay. Marcus nodded, swallowing protest. Yes, sir. The work was mindless, mechanical. Mop the floors, empty the trash cans, wipe down surfaces, clean bathrooms, replace paper towels, invisible labor that kept the building running. Marcus had been doing this for 5 years, ever since his plans fell apart. He used to be different, used to have dreams bigger than this. He'd been 3 semesters away from finishing his mechanical engineering degree at Cleveland State when Keisha got pregnant. Twins weren't in the plan, but he'd made a choice. Family first, degree later. Later never came. He'd dropped out, taken the first job he could find with decent benefits. Told himself it was temporary. Told himself he'd go back once the girls were older. But temporary turned into years, and years turned into this. A 36-year-old janitor with calculus textbooks collecting dust under his bed, and dreams that felt like someone else's memories. Section 2. The Encounter. At 3:47 p.m., Marcus was cleaning the executive bathroom on the 23rd floor when his phone buzzed. Text from Mrs. Rodriguez. Running late. Can you get girls? Abuela fell. His heart clenched. Is she okay? Hospital now. Need to go. Go. I'll get them. Hope she's okay. He checked his watch. The girls got out at 4:15. He'd never make it. He pulled out his phone, called his supervisor. I need to leave early. Family emergency. Webb, you can't just... My daughter's babysitter is at the hospital. There's nobody else. I have to pick them up from school. Silence. Then, fine, but you're using a personal day. He didn't have personal days left. He'd used them when Maya had strep throat, when Mia needed emergency dental work. But he said, thank you, because what else could he say? Marcus changed in record time, left through the service exit, and drove across town pushing every speed limit, praying no cop would stop him because he couldn't afford the ticket. He made it to the school at 4:23, 8 minutes late, his heart hammering. The girls stood with the after-school coordinator, Maya looking annoyed, Mia looking worried. Sorry, Marcus panted, jogging up. Mrs. Rodriguez had an emergency. It's fine, Mr. Webb, the coordinator said kindly. Girls, have a good evening. In the truck, Maya complained about having to wait. Mia asked if Abuela was okay. Marcus answered patiently, checking his rearview mirror, pulling into traffic. That's when he saw the car behind him swerving. Everything happened in slow motion and too fast at once. A black Mercedes, expensive, pristine, weaving between lanes. The driver, a woman he could see through the windshield, wasn't looking at the road. She was reaching for something, looking down, and the car drifted, heading straight for the median. Hold on! Marcus yanked the wheel, pulling his truck onto the shoulder as the Mercedes shot past them, clipped the median, spun, and slammed into the concrete barrier with a sickening crunch of metal and glass. Time froze. Stay in the truck, Marcus commanded, already unbuckling his seatbelt. Do not move. Lock the doors. Daddy? Mia's voice was small, frightened. Lock the doors. He ran. Other cars slowed, stopped. Someone was calling 911. Marcus reached the Mercedes first. The front end was crumpled, hood buckled, spiderweb cracks across the windshield. Steam hissed from the engine. Inside, a woman slumped against the steering wheel, blood on her forehead. Marcus tried the door. Locked. He pounded on the window. Ma'am, can you hear me? Her eyes fluttered open. Brown eyes, dazed, struggling to focus. She was black, mid-30s, wearing a white blouse and gray slacks. Professional. Hurt. She fumbled with the door lock, managed to click it open. Marcus pulled the door wide, assessed quickly, the training coming back, the 2 years he'd spent in the Army Reserve before the twins came, the combat lifesaver course he'd taken. Check for breathing, check for bleeding, check for responsiveness. Can you tell me your name? Cassandra, she whispered. Cassandra Prescott. The name hit him like a punch. Prescott, as in Prescott Industries, as in his boss's boss's boss. "Okay, Cassandra, I'm Marcus. I'm going to help you. Can you move?" My head, everything's spinning. The blood was coming from a gash on her forehead. Scalp wounds always bled heavily, looked worse than they were. But her pupils were uneven. Possible concussion. The engine was still steaming, and he smelled something chemical, sharp. "We need to get you out. Can you unbuckle?" Her hands shook as she tried. Failed. Marcus leaned in, careful not to jar her, found the buckle, released it. His hands went under her arms, supporting her weight as she half climbed, half fell out of the car. Other people had gathered. Someone said an ambulance was coming. Marcus guided Cassandra away from the vehicle, sat her on the curb. She swayed, and he caught her, his arm around her shoulders, keeping her upright. "Stay with me, Cassandra. Look at me. Tell me what day it is." Thursday?" "Good, that's good. Who's the president?" She told him, her voice steadying slightly. Sirens in the distance, growing closer. Marcus checked his watch. The girls. He glanced back at his truck. They were watching through the window, eyes wide. He held up one finger. "1 minute." "Do you have family I can call?" Marcus asked Cassandra. "Phone, in the car." He retrieved it from the center console, handed it to her. Her hands were shaking too badly to hold it. Marcus took it back, unlocked with her thumbprint, found "Ice Harper" in the contacts. A woman answered on the first ring. "Cassie?" "This isn't Cassie. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm with Cassandra Prescott. She's been in an accident on Highway 90 near the Miller Road exit. She's conscious but hurt. Ambulance is on the way." Sharp intake of breath. "Is she... how bad?" "Head injury, possible. Concussion." "She's talking. She's coherent. But she needs medical attention." "I'm coming. I'm 20 minutes away. Stay with her, please." "I will." The ambulance arrived. Paramedics took over with practiced efficiency. They asked Marcus questions. What happened, her responses, her vitals. He answered everything. The old training making him useful, competent. One of the EMTs looked at him with recognition, respect. "You prior service?" "Army Reserve, 2 years. Combat Lifesaver certified." The EMT nodded. "Good work. You probably saved her from worse. That engine was leaking coolant. Another few minutes could have caught fire." Marcus hadn't thought about that. His stomach dropped retroactively. They loaded Cassandra onto a stretcher. She grabbed Marcus's hand before they wheeled her away, her grip surprisingly strong. "Thank you," she whispered. "What's your name again?" "Marcus Webb." "Marcus Webb." She repeated it like she was memorizing it. "Thank you, Marcus Webb." Then they were gone, sirens wailing. The crowd dispersed. A tow truck arrived for the Mercedes. A police officer took Marcus's statement, thanked him for his help, let him go. Back in his truck, Maya and Mia stared at him with identical expressions of awe and worry. "Daddy, you saved that lady," Mia whispered. "I just helped until the ambulance came." "You're a hero," Maya declared. He wasn't a hero. He was a janitor who'd done what anyone would do. He started the truck, pulled back into traffic, and drove home, his hands shaking slightly on the wheel, adrenaline finally catching up to him. That night, after dinner, chicken and rice stretched with vegetables. After homework, after showers, after reading them 2 chapters of the book they were working through together, after tucking them into their twin beds and kissing their foreheads, Marcus finally collapsed on the couch. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Mr. Webb, this is Harper Prescott, Cassandra's sister. The hospital gave me your number from the police report. I wanted to thank you personally for what you did today. Cassie's going to be fine. Mild concussion, 12 stitches, but nothing serious. Because of you. Thank you." Marcus typed back. "Glad she's okay. No thanks needed. Can I do something for you? Dinner? A gift? Anything? Not necessary. Just doing what anyone would do. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, "You're rare, Marcus Webb. Most people would ask for something. Thank you for being one of the good ones." Marcus set his phone down, stared at the ceiling, at that water stain that looked like somewhere far away, and wondered what it would be like to be the kind of person who expected something in return for basic human decency. He couldn't imagine it. His grandmother had raised him better than that. Outside, the city hummed its nighttime song. Inside, his daughters slept safe. And somewhere across town, a woman named Cassandra Prescott was lying in a hospital bed, 12 stitches in her forehead, because she'd reached for her phone while driving. Marcus closed his eyes and fell into exhausted sleep, never imagining that Thursday afternoon had changed the trajectory of his entire life. Section 3. The morning after. Immediate aftermath. Friday morning began exactly like Thursday morning. Alarm at 5:47, 13 minutes early, his body protesting, the girls already stirring. Routine, sameness, the comfort of predictability. Except when Marcus checked his phone, there were 7 missed calls, all from work. His stomach dropped. Had they fired him for leaving early yesterday? He called back, hands sweating. "Webb, where are you?" His supervisor sounded stressed, not angry. Different. "Home. Getting my daughters ready. My shift doesn't start until—" "Change of plans, you need to come in now. Executive request." "Executive? Which, just get here. Wear something. Not coveralls." The line went dead. Marcus stared at his phone, heart hammering. Executive request. Something, not coveralls. What the hell? "Girls, change of plans. We're leaving early." He dropped them at the school's before care program, an extra expense he couldn't afford but had no choice about today. Then he drove to Prescott Tower, still wearing jeans and a plain black t-shirt because it was the nicest, not coveralls he owned on short notice. The lobby security guard, usually indifferent, jumped to attention when Marcus entered. "Mr. Webb, they're expecting you. 27th floor, executive suite." "The what?" "27th floor, sir." Marcus had cleaned the 27th floor dozens of times. He'd never been there during business hours. The elevator ride felt eternal. His reflection in the polished doors showed a man out of place, too casual, too working class, too black in a building full of expensive suits. The doors opened. The executive suite was all glass and chrome and modern art that probably cost more than his truck. A receptionist, young, white, professional, looked up with a smile that seemed genuine. "Mr. Webb, right this way." She led him through corridors lined with photos of important people doing important things. They stopped at a door marked C. Prescott, CEO. CEO. Cassandra Prescott was the CEO. The woman he'd pulled from a car yesterday was the CEO of Prescott Industries, the person who owned the building where he mopped floors. His boss's 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 boss. Oh, hell. The receptionist knocked, opened the door. "Mr. Webb is here, Miss Prescott." "Send him in." The office was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. A desk the size of Marcus's kitchen. And behind it, Cassandra Prescott. She looked different than yesterday. No blood, no confusion. Her hair was pulled back in a sleek bun. She wore a navy blue suit jacket, though Marcus could see the white bandage on her forehead partially hidden by carefully arranged hair. She stood when he entered, came around the desk, and Marcus saw her wince slightly with the movement. "Mr. Webb? Marcus, thank you for coming." Yes, ma'am." They said executive request. "Sit, please." She gestured to a chair. Marcus sat. She sat across from him, not behind her desk, a deliberate choice to seem less intimidating. It didn't work. Everything about this screamed power. "How are you feeling?" Marcus asked because his grandmother raised him to be polite. "Sore, embarrassed, alive, thanks to you." Her eyes met his. The doctor said if I'd stayed in that car another 5 minutes, the coolant leak could have ignited. If there'd been a fire... She didn't finish, didn't need to. I'm glad you're okay. Marcus, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Did you know who I was yesterday? No, ma'am, not until you told me your name, and even then, I didn't connect it until later. You didn't help me because of my position. I helped you because you needed help. Something shifted in her expression, softened. My sister told me you refused any reward. I don't need a reward for basic human decency. See, that's what I'm struggling with. Cassandra leaned forward. In my world, everyone wants something. Everyone has an angle. But you pulled me from a burning car, stayed until the ambulance came and asked for nothing. I don't understand it. Marcus shrugged. Not sure what there is to understand. Someone needed help. I helped. Are you always like this? Like what? This genuine. The question caught him off guard. I'm exactly like this. I don't know how else to be. Cassandra studied him with an intensity that made Marcus want to squirm. Finally, she stood, walked to her desk, picked up a folder. I had HR pull your file this morning. Marcus Thomas Webb, 36 years old, employed in building maintenance for 5 years. Before that, various manual labor positions. Before that, Army Reserve for 2 years. Before that, she looked up. Cleveland State University, 3 semesters away from a mechanical engineering degree. You never finished. His jaw tightened. Life happened. Your personnel file lists you as a single parent. Twin daughters, age 8. Is there a point to this? The point, Cassandra said, setting the folder down, is that I looked into you not because I don't trust you, but because I wanted to understand the man who saved my life. And what I found is someone working far beneath his capabilities, someone who sacrificed his future for his family, someone who's been invisible in this building for 5 years while being quietly exceptional. I mop floors, Ms. Prescott. Nothing exceptional about that. You saved my life without knowing who I was. That's exceptional, and I want to offer you something in return. Here it comes, Marcus thought, the awkward part where she tries to throw money at the situation. I don't want. Let me finish. Her voice carried CEO authority now. I'm not offering you money. I'm offering you a job, a real job, in our engineering department. We have an opening for a facilities engineering position, analyzing building systems, managing maintenance contracts, working with our operations team. It requires technical knowledge, problem-solving ability, and practical experience. You have all 3. Marcus felt like the room was tilting. I don't have a degree. You have 3/4 of one, military training, and 5 years of hands-on building maintenance experience. That's more qualified than half the people we interview. The position pays $68,000 a year plus benefits. Standard 9-to-5 schedule. No weekends. $68,000. Marcus currently made $32,000. The difference was life-changing. The kind of money that meant security, stability, breathing room. Why? The word came out rougher than he intended. Why would you do this? Because yesterday you showed me something I'd forgotten. Cassandra's voice softened. Kindness without agenda. And because when I looked into who you are, I saw someone this company should have promoted years ago. Considerate, enlightened self-interest. I want good people working for me, and you're clearly good people. Marcus wanted to say yes. God, he wanted to say yes. But something held him back. Pride? Fear? The certainty that this was charity dressed up as opportunity? I need to think about it. Surprise flickered across Cassandra's face. She was clearly not used to people hesitating at job offers. Of course, take the weekend. But Marcus, I want you to understand something. This isn't charity. I wouldn't offer you a position in my engineering department as a thank you gift. That would be insulting to both of us. I'm offering this because you're qualified, and because this company wastes talent by not looking beyond credentials at actual capability. You're talented. I'm just finally noticing." She walked him to the door, extended her hand. Marcus shook it, her grip firm, professional, yet somehow personal. "Think about it. And Marcus, thank you again. For yesterday. For reminding me that good people exist." In the elevator, Marcus's hands shook. In the lobby, he walked past his supervisor who looked confused seeing him in street clothes during work hours. Outside, in the humid morning air, Marcus leaned against his truck and tried to process what just happened. His phone rang. Maya's school. "Mr. Webb, this is Principal Martinez. Nothing serious, but Maya got in a small altercation at Before Care. We need you to come in." Of course, because this morning wasn't surreal enough already. At the school, Maya sat in the principal's office looking defiant. Another girl sat across from her, crying. Marcus's heart sank. "What happened?" Principal Martinez explained. The crying girl had made fun of Maya's clothes, the discount store jeans, the hand-me-down sneakers. Maya had responded by dumping juice on the girl's designer backpack. "Maya," Marcus said quietly, "apologize." "She started it. She said we're poor." "We are poor. That's not shameful. But destroying someone's property is. Apologize." Maya's eyes filled with tears, but she mumbled, "Sorry." The other girl's mother arrived, expensive clothes, expensive everything, looked at Marcus and Maya with barely concealed disdain, and accepted the apology with cold formality. After they left, Principal Martinez said gently, "Mr. Webb, I know things have been tight. If there's anything the school can do—" "We're fine," Marcus said, more sharply than intended, then softer. "Thank you, but we're fine." In the truck, Maya cried, "I'm sorry, Daddy. She made me so mad." "I know, baby, but we don't respond to words with actions. We're better than that." "Are we poor?" Marcus's throat tightened. "We have everything that matters. We have each other." "But we're not rich." "No, we're not rich. That lady yesterday, the one you saved, she was rich, right? Her car was fancy." "Very rich." "Did she give you money for saving her?" "No. She offered me a different job. A better job." Maya's tears stopped. "Are you going to take it?" Marcus looked at his daughter, 8 years old, worried about things no child should worry about, defending her pride with juice boxes because she'd learned from watching him that their financial struggle was something to be ashamed of, even though he'd never said those words. "Yeah," he said quietly. "Yeah, I think I am." That afternoon, Marcus called the number Cassandra had given him. Her executive assistant answered, put him through immediately. "Ms. Prescott, it's Marcus Webb. If the offer still stands—" "Yes. Yes, I accept." "Excellent." The smile was audible in her voice. "Come in Monday morning, 9 a.m. HR will handle paperwork. Welcome to your new life, Marcus." Welcome to your new life. If only he'd known how literally she meant that. Monday morning, Marcus arrived at Prescott Tower in khakis and a button-down shirt he'd bought at Goodwill Saturday afternoon. The girls had helped him pick it out, Maya declaring him "Fancy Daddy," while Mia carefully ironed out every wrinkle. HR processed him quickly. Benefits, paperwork that made his head spin. A salary he had to read 3 times to believe. A photo ID badge that said Engineering Department instead of Maintenance. He stared at it, this small piece of plastic that represented everything changing. His new supervisor, Derek Chen, was a 40-something engineer with kind eyes and a patient demeanor. "Cassandra speaks highly of you. Let's get you oriented." The work was challenging, but not impossible. Analyzing HVAC systems, reviewing maintenance schedules, problem-solving equipment failures. Marcus discovered his years mopping floors had taught him the building's quirks better than any manual could. He knew which pipes leaked, which circuits were temperamental, which systems needed attention. His practical knowledge combined with his engineering coursework made him surprisingly effective. But it was the afternoon encounters that changed everything. Cassandra had a habit of walking the building, checking on departments unannounced. She'd stop by the engineering office, ostensibly to review projects, but her eyes would find Marcus. Small smiles, brief conversations. Nothing inappropriate, but something was building between them. Awareness, attraction, possibility. "How are the girls adjusting?" she asked one afternoon, perched on the edge of his desk in a way that would have been casual if she weren't the CEO. "Good. The schedule change means I can actually pick them up from school now." "That must be a relief. You have no idea." She studied him. "Have dinner with me. Nothing formal. I want to hear about your daughters, about your life." Marcus hesitated. "Ms. Prescott." "Cassandra, please, and before you say this is inappropriate, I'm asking as someone who'd like to get to know you better, not as your boss. Those two things can't be separated." "They can, if we're honest about boundaries." Her eyes held his. "I'm not asking you to compromise yourself, Marcus. I'm asking for dinner. Say no if you want. I'll respect it completely." He should say no. Every rational part of his brain screamed it. But sitting across from this brilliant, powerful woman who looked at him like he mattered, he found himself saying, "Okay, but somewhere casual, and I need to arrange childcare." "Bring them." "What?" "Bring your daughters. I'd like to meet them properly." Section 5. Vulnerability Exchange. They met at a family-style Italian restaurant in a neighborhood between his world and hers. Maya and Mia were suspicious at first, watching Cassandra with the sharp perception of children who'd learned to protect their father from anything that might hurt him. But Cassandra was magic with them. She asked about their favorite subjects. Mia loved reading, Maya loved math. Their hobbies, both were learning piano through a free community program. Their dreams, marine biologist and astronaut respectively. She listened like their answers mattered, made jokes that landed, treated them like intelligent humans rather than accessories. Over spaghetti and breadsticks, Marcus watched his daughters fall for her. And, watching them fall, something in his own chest cracked open. After dinner, walking to their cars while the girls ran ahead on the sidewalk, Cassandra said quietly, "I need to tell you something. About why I was distracted Thursday. Why I crashed." Marcus waited. "I got a call from my doctor. Routine blood work came back abnormal. Possible autoimmune condition. Nothing life-threatening, but scary. I was reaching for my phone to call Harper when I lost control." Her voice wavered. "I spent so many years building this company, climbing every ladder, proving I belonged in rooms that didn't want me, and in one moment I realized none of it matters if you're alone when bad news comes. What did the follow-up tests show? Inconclusive, more tests scheduled, but the point is, I have all this success, all this money, and when I got scared, I had no one to call except my sister. No partner, no family beyond Harper, just work." Marcus touched her arm gently. "You're not alone now." Her eyes glistened. "We barely know each other." "Maybe, but I see you, Cassandra. I see past the title, past the money. I see someone who's scared and trying to be brave. I understand that. Tell me about your wife, ex-wife." So he did. The whole story, falling in love young, the unexpected pregnancy, dropping out to support their family, her growing resentment, the slow death of their marriage the day she left, the relief mixed with heartbreak, the guilt of feeling relieved. "I failed her," Marcus admitted. "I couldn't give her the life she wanted." "You gave her children, stability, faithfulness. That she couldn't see the value in that isn't your failure. That's hers." Something passed between them. Understanding. Recognition of shared wounds. "I'm scared," Cassandra whispered, "of what I'm feeling, of wanting this." "Me too," But maybe scared is okay. Maybe we do it scared. When he walked her to her car, she kissed him. Soft, tentative, loaded with promise. Maya, watching from Marcus's truck, whispered to Mia, "Daddy's getting a girlfriend." Mia smiled. Good. He deserves to be happy. Section 6. The Complication. 3 weeks into their relationship, if that's what it was, the bomb dropped. Marcus's ex-wife, Keisha, filed for custody. Full custody. The paperwork arrived via certified mail. Cold legal language claiming he was an unstable influence providing inadequate living conditions. She wanted the girls moved to Atlanta immediately. Marcus couldn't breathe. His hands shook holding the papers. He called the only person he could think of. Cassandra arrived at his apartment 30 minutes later. She'd never seen where he lived. The small, worn space, the peeling paint, the furniture held together with hope. He watched her take it in, shame burning his throat. "Don't," she said, reading his expression. "Don't apologize for where you live. There's love in every corner of this place." She read the custody papers with CEO focus. "This is bullshit. Does she even see them? Twice a year, Christmas and summer. We fight this. I'll connect you with the best family law attorney in Ohio. I can't afford. I can. Let me help, Marcus, please." Pride warred with desperation. Desperation won. Okay. The attorney Cassandra hired was a shark, a woman named Patricia Monroe who specialized in fathers' rights cases. She reviewed everything, interviewed the girls, built a case, but she was honest. The mother has money now, stability, a 2-parent household. The court tends to favor that. Even though she abandoned them? Marcus's voice cracked. Unfortunately, yes. We need to show the girls are thriving with you, that their life here is stable, enriching, better than what she can offer. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. The custody evaluation came 2 weeks later. A social worker visited, inspected the apartment, interviewed neighbors, talked to the girls' teachers. Marcus cleaned until his hands bled, organized everything perfectly, coached the girls to be honest but positive. The social worker was kind but clinical. She noted the small space, the worn furniture, the tight budget. Then she spoke with Maya and Mia. "Do you love your daddy?" she asked. "More than anything," Mia whispered. "He's the best daddy in the whole world," Maya declared. "He does our hair and helps with homework and makes us laugh even when he's tired." "Would you want to live with your mother?" Both girls looked terrified. "No," Maya said firmly. "Mommy left us. Daddy stayed. Daddy always stays." The social worker's expression softened, but she remained professional. "I'll submit my report to the court." That night, after the girls were asleep, Marcus sat on his couch and cried. Cassandra held him, this powerful woman cradling him while he broke apart. "I can't lose them," he sobbed. "They're everything." "You won't. I promise you won't." "You can't promise that." "Then I'll do everything in my power to make sure you don't. Money, lawyers, whatever it takes." "This isn't your fight." She pulled back, looked at him fiercely. "Yes, it is. Because I love you, Marcus. I love you, and I love those girls, and I will burn the world down before I let anyone take them from you." The words hung in the air. "I love you." "Cassandra." "I know it's fast. I know it's complicated, but it's true, and I need you to know that you're not alone in this fight." Marcus kissed her, desperate and grateful and terrified of losing everything he'd built. His daughters, this woman, the life that finally felt like it might work. The custody hearing was scheduled for a Tuesday morning. Marcus wore the only suit he owned, bought second-hand for his grandmother's funeral. Cassandra sat in the gallery, her presence a silent promise. Keisha arrived with her new husband, both in expensive clothes, radiating success. She'd gained weight, looked happy, stable. Her attorney painted a picture of a reformed mother who'd found herself, who could now provide the life Marcus couldn't: private schools, a house with a yard, two-parent stability, opportunities. Marcus's attorney countered with evidence: school records showing the girl's excellence, teacher testimonials praising his involvement, medical records showing consistent care, character witnesses from neighbors, the church, the community center. And Cassandra's written statement, carefully worded to avoid seeming like she was throwing money at the problem, emphasizing Marcus's character, work ethic, and devotion. The judge, a black woman in her 50s with sharp eyes, listened to everything. Then she called Maya and Mia into her chambers. Privately. 30 minutes later, she returned with the girls. Her expression was unreadable. "I've reviewed all evidence and spoken extensively with both children. This is not a case of a bad parent versus a good parent. Both of you love these girls. But love isn't always enough. Children need stability, consistency, presence." Marcus's heart stopped. "Ms. Webb, you abandoned your daughters for 3 years. You missed birthdays, school plays, illnesses, and daily life. You now offer them material comfort. That matters, but it's not everything." She turned to Marcus. "Mr. Webb, you offer them a modest home and a tight budget, but you also offer them unwavering presence, consistent love, and a father who has sacrificed everything to ensure their well-being." The judge looked at Maya and Mia. "These young ladies are bright, articulate, and clear about their wishes. They love their mother, but their home is with their father. And this court will not uproot children from a loving, stable environment simply because another environment offers more money." Marcus couldn't breathe. Custody remains with Marcus Webb. "Ms. Webb, you are granted expanded visitation, 1 weekend per month and alternating holidays, contingent on consistent follow-through. If you want your daughters in your life, you show up. Consistently, this court is adjourned." The gavel fell. Maya and Mia launched themselves at Marcus, crying and laughing. Cassandra stood in the back, tears streaming down her face, hand over her mouth. Outside the courthouse, Keisha approached. "You got lucky," she said bitterly. "No," Marcus replied quietly. "I stayed. That's not luck. That's choice." She walked away, and he didn't watch her go. Epilogue. 6 months later. The new apartment, a 3-bedroom in a better neighborhood, one Cassandra helped him find and Marcus insisted on paying rent for, smelled like paint and possibility. The girls had their own rooms for the first time ever. Marcus had a real bedroom, and there was space for life to breathe. Cassandra spent most weekends there. She'd never officially moved in, but her toothbrush was in the bathroom, her clothes in the closet, her laughter in every room. On a Saturday morning, Marcus woke to find all 3 of them in the kitchen. Cassandra teaching the girls to make French toast, flour everywhere, Maya arguing about the correct cinnamon ratio, Mia carefully measuring vanilla. "Daddy," Mia called, "we're making breakfast." "I can see that, and making a mess." Cassandra turned, spatula in hand, hair pulled back, wearing one of his T-shirts. She'd never looked more beautiful. "Good morning," she said, and in those 2 words was everything. Love, commitment, future. After breakfast, after the girls ran outside to play, Cassandra pulled a small box from her pocket. "What's this?" Marcus asked. "Open it." Inside was a key to her house, the mansion on the hill he'd never felt comfortable in. "I'm not asking you to move in," she said quickly. "Not yet. But I want you to know you're always welcome. That my space is your space. That we're building something together." Marcus pulled her close. "I love you." "I love you too. And Marcus, I got the test results back. Everything's fine, just stress. I'm healthy." Relief flooded him. "Thank God." "Thank you," she corrected, "for showing me what matters. For reminding me that life isn't about titles and money. It's about this. Messy kitchens and children laughing and someone who stays. Through the window they watched Maya and Mia playing in the small yard, their joy uncomplicated, their futures bright. "Thank you for staying," Cassandra whispered. "Thank you for seeing me," Marcus replied. And in that moment, in that kitchen still covered in flour, they both understood what they'd found. Not rescue, not charity, not transaction, but something far rarer. Partnership built on mutual respect, love earned through vulnerability, and the courage to build something beautiful from broken pieces. 1 year later, Cassandra proposed. Marcus said yes. The girls served as flower girls at a small ceremony in the same Italian restaurant where they'd had their first family dinner. And Marcus Webb, former janitor, single father, everyday hero, stepped into a life he'd never imagined, built on the foundation of kindness freely given and love gratefully received. Sometimes the most extraordinary love stories begin with the simplest acts of human decency. And sometimes the family you choose becomes even stronger than the one you thought you were meant to have. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.